This is Full Time Devils. This is the Watford preview. Howson with me today, Angelina with me too, and Dale from Stretty News, right? Where else are we going to start today, guys? Ollie is at the wheel. Officially now. It is officially happened. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is the new permanent Manchester United manager. Howson, what was your reaction to the news when you first found out?
I nearly crashed my car.
Nearly not at the wheel.
I was on my way into work this morning, saw the alert pop up, I thought, happy days. And I know we're going to talk about the timing of it and all that. I think the timing is right. I think I've even done it earlier. Mould season is just about to start, and I think out of courtesy for them allowing us to take their manager on loan, we should have let them go and sort their own preparation out for the season by letting them appoint someone if we was going to take him. I don't see any benefit to us withholding that information. You want to sort your targets out for the summer, and people are like, oh yeah, you can do it all behind closed doors, and you can tell them that you can tell this player that you're going to be appointing Ollie, but that's when that stuff gets out anyway. So you might as well make it official. Let the club see and the fans see that Ollie's going to be with us for a long time. That allows those players that we need to get signed up, like De Gea, Pogba, Herrera, on new deals. It lets them get signed up, Rashford as well. And it lets all the transfer business start getting started now. It made no sense to me to wait to the end of the season. Get it done if you're doing it, and let's get on with it. Dale,
what do you make of the timing of this one?
Yeah, I was on the side where I thought they should have waited to the end of the season, strictly because that's what they said they were going to do. So I didn't see a reason to change that all of a sudden, because look, it's not as if someone's going to swoop in and take Solskjaer from us. It's his dream job. But then look, I agree with stuff that Howson is saying too. It was like, it's the big secret that we were all expecting. They were excited to get it out, so they just released it today. It is important with players in their future. Look, like the likes of De Gea, if you want to sign a big long-term deal, if he does, you want to know who is manager. And I know they kind of had an inkling he would be there next season, but it's just now it's set in stone and it's important. As well as that, we were expecting an announcement for the director of football today, which we haven't got. So I think it's important that Solskjaer has come in now. He can have his plans for the future, especially as Howson mentioned, that summer deal. Let's not forget, Manchester United's recruitment policy is chaotic, if not rubbish. But this summer, they cannot make the same mistakes they've made before, and it will show how serious they are about challenging next season.
So, Angelina, what was your initial reaction when you found out you'd got the permanent role?
I think just relief that it was all over, to be honest, and I kind of agree that there was no point waiting until the end, just get it done. Everyone's talking about it. There's so much kind of drama with it all. Just kind of shut everybody up, get it done. So I was kind of relieved about that. But yeah, no, I think it's great. I think this is kind of his reward for revitalising the side. But I think also there's going to be a lot of hard work, like you say, the director of football situation, transfers, and obviously him getting that support that's vital. So yeah, it's kind of relief, but also still kind of worried about what lies ahead.
Howson, I'll come to you with this one. Do you think that the reasons behind this Ole Gunnar Solskjaer permanent appointment are purely footballing reasons and purely the form, or is there, as some people have suggested online, this is a way out for the owners to get away with not spending much money this summer? Because, I mean, there's been rumours as soon as it was announced that we're not going to go out and buy a centre-half now. Are they rubbish?
I hope so, but we won't know until the summer. It's my concern as well that Ollie is potentially a yes man. They've given the guy his dream job because he's going to not kick up too much fuss, and he's someone that the fans are instantly on side with. So it makes almost screwing Solskjaer over easy for the board. I think deep down they don't want us to fail as a board. I just don't think they're willing to invest the vast amounts that we probably need to compete. But that being said, I think if you had a sensible recruitment policy and a director of football, and Paul Mitchell seems to be at the top of that list, Pochettino's accredited with assembling this fantastic Spurs starting 11, and I agree it's a fantastic 11. But Paul Mitchell was at the helm for most of that. He oversaw the development of Harry Kane and his introduction into the first team. He oversaw the signings of a lot of their key players at the moment. And if you notice, their recruitment policy has not been the greatest in the last couple of years since Paul Mitchell's no longer been there. If you look at what RB Leipzig are doing with him at the helm, bringing through the likes of Upamecano, Naby Keita, Forsberg, Timo Werner, I think someone alongside Solskjaer, like a Mitchell, even if he's not given Real Madrid and Paris Saint-Germain level budgets, could assemble a team capable of winning the Premier League and challenging in Europe. And that is all that we need to do. I think you could go around the bottom 10 teams in the Premier League and improve this United squad because, as Dale said, our policy in recent years has been so erratic and hectic that there's been no strategy to it whatsoever. I think some actual strategy, finding out players that are going to fit what the manager wants as a system, and sensible recruitment, and United could compete again.
Dale, I know you touched on the director of football briefly before then, but just how essential do you think that is now we know that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has the job?
Well, I think we can all kind of relax now, and it was kind of on top of our minds for so long. I know Gary Neville mentioned this morning, when are they going to do? We want a snap announcement today and so on. It's just one of those things that I suppose we got over that hole, or got over that hill now, and it's done. And we can plan for the future, and we know exactly who's going to be manager, and he can start talking to the club about maybe the players that he wants part of the squad next season, and try and build his team the way he wants. I don't think the announcement today of all days is all that significant because we've seen it coming, but it just means now what next. And as Howson touched on, like, is he a yes man? We don't really know yet because he's still relatively a new manager. This is a massive job. We're going to learn so much about him in the next few weeks, months, now that the job is his. It's no longer a gift as it was in December to him because he was a caretaker manager and it was only till the end of the season. But now this is the real deal. He is the manager of Manchester United, and we want to see his true colours.
And as excited I am for Ole, I just kind of have this feeling that a director of football, someone who knows the way around the transfer market, is essential to Manchester United now. But we shall wait and see. Right, moving on. We are back off the international break now. Angelina, a lot of people say that it's a good rest, and a lot of more people say that it is just a distraction for top-level players. Where do you sit on that one?
I used to kind of go with that it is a bit of a distraction, we don't need it, but I do think it was vital for us to have that rest. I think it's come at a good time because there's so much, it's kind of given everybody time to kind of digest what's been going on and kind of come back down to reality from the highs of PSG, the lows of Arsenal and the FA Cup. I think it's come at a really good time, and whether people have been injured or they just didn't want to play for the national team, whatever the issues have been, for me personally, it has come at a good time, and I think that some players really did need that break. Whether Rashford, hopefully his injury won't be too detrimental, but I think players like him needed that little bit of a break.
Howson, how do you think the Reds did this international break then? Obviously excluding the ones who got the sort of phantom Fergie injuries that we saw, but obviously the likes of Pogba and Bailly had a decent run out. What did you make of him?
I thought Paul Pogba's assist for Griezmann was absolutely spectacular. If you had pants on watching that, I don't know what you're doing because that was unbelievable. In terms of anyone else, that was pretty much it, really. There wasn't much else to talk about in terms of what they did on international break. I know Marcus is really injured, like seriously, really injured. And it was a joke that it took him till like the day before the game, before England allowed him to come away from training. I'm hoping that he's actually fully fit because I think he'd be a big element to the run-in for us. He's been under the weather, but I think it's been down to the injury big time. I think his movement's been affected. I think his confidence has been affected. And I think as a focal point of the team's been affected because we've been reliant on an injured forward. So I hope Marcus is able to come back up, given the rest that he needs before this weekend, and maybe not rush back if he's not fit as well, because I think that'll be massively important. Aside from that, I mean, it's international break, isn't it? What a weird time to start qualification for a competition when you're in the final run-ins of everything else. Weird.
Right, Dale, mate, what did you make of a few of the phantom injuries then? It was almost shades of Fergie, wasn't there, the way that certain players were being dragged out of their international squads by Solskjaer?
Yeah, well, I suppose it wasn't just United as well. There was a lot of Premier League players that were dropping out of international squads. And I was just questioning, really. We mentioned the timing of this international break. With so many teams either fighting for titles or top four and still in Europe and Europa and Champions League, this is the first round of qualifiers. Is it really significant? England had had relatively easy games. And as a United fan, I was hoping some of our players weren't going to head out and play those games. I know Pogba played 92 sets of 90 minutes. And just before the international break, I was saying that I thought the players looked exhausted in certain games. And I'm not sure if even they got, some of them got the break that they needed. You'd like to think that we'd be ready to go when we come back against Watford, but I think the players were so exhausted, and some were still carrying knocks, which have reoccurred. I'm not sure whether this is the best time of Manchester United to play Watford.
Okay, so there is still a really positive vibe around the club, obviously, with the news of Solskjaer getting the job permanently. But let's not forget, we are coming off the back of two really disappointing results going out the FA Cup to Wolves, and the result against Arsenal was disappointing. And even if the performance wasn't really warranting a defeat, Angelina, in fact, no, we'll go to Howson first while Angelina's manoeuvring herself around what looks like a gym, weirdly. So we'll go to Howson first. Talk to me about coming back now. Is there extra pressure on us after those two results?
I don't think there's extra pressure. I think Manchester United comes with pressure regardless. And I think one of the things that I reckon the appointment has done is given us a lift going into this Watford game. We came into the international break on the back of 2 defeats. And international break, we're not really much to talk about in terms of what United players have gone and done. And I think this would have been a pretty low-key preview if it wasn't for the fact that Ole had just been appointed. So I think that everyone's absolutely flying and everyone's up for it. And we might see the same sort of lift from the players that we saw in that Cardiff game when he was appointed as the interim manager. I think it's a big push now for the end of the season. I think the timing actually was very astute from United for a change.
Hey, there is no such thing as a low-key preview on this channel, right? Let's just get that thing straight. Angelina, are you actually in a gym?
No, I'm actually at work.
Oh, are you? Well,
yeah.
Sorry, it just really looks like a gym when you pointed the camera that way. I don't know why. What do you think then? Extra pressure on us after those really poor results?
Yeah, I think so. I think what makes this kind of a bit more interesting is the pressure from the 2 losses, the pressure of top 4, and also, Watford are battling themselves just kind of below us. They could go above Wolves, which would be vital for them. So I think it makes it a bit more interesting that there's these kind of mini battles going on. But I think it's kind of interesting about the Cardiff point because it could have that same kind of effect. And you think about it, back at Old Trafford, it feels like we've not played at home for ages now. Having that, the appointment, people hopefully coming back, maybe some people not. I think all those things combined, it could end up being a really good game. But I think the pressure, there's always pressure, and I think at this time of the year with everything hotting up, there's going to be a lot of added pressure. Yeah.
Dale, we know that football fans sometimes can get a little bit carried away with themselves, especially in the modern world of social media. But despite Ole literally just being announced before we started recording this preview, do you think there are already going to be question marks if he was to drop points against Watford? Because like I say, you've got the result against Wolves, you've got the result against Arsenal, then if he gets a 3rd defeat now, oh no, what have we done?
Well, of course, you go through social media, any match day, you're going to find morons. And, so, I'm sure after the last defeat, there were people calling for Solskjaer's head, and there'll probably be more by the end of the season. But look,
6 months ago, there were people saying we should send Rashford on loan to Leeds.
Yeah, look, I'm not surprised. But look,
it was you that was saying it, Gaz.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, look, you're never going to stop that. Some people do that, take it or having a laugh as well. I wouldn't buy much into it. And look, we're going to get behind them. The club hopefully will get behind them in the summer, and we'll have a big year next year.
I'm obviously joking. I just thought I'd put it out there. Ollie out if we lose to Watford. Right, predicted 11 times. Dale, let's start with you, mate. Let's stick with you. What is your predicted 11 for the game against Watford?
Hey, and obviously it's quite difficult because we don't know which players are fully recovered from the knocks they've just had, and we haven't heard Ollie's press conference yet. So the back 4, I'm going to go with Dalot at right back, and at left back, I'm going to go with Ashley Young. Howson, be delighted with that one. We don't know exactly if Shaw is fully fit yet. I'm sure Solskjaer will give an update on that. And at centre half, Lindelof picked up a knock on the international break, so I'm going to go with Smalling and Jones, unfortunately. There you go. In midfield three of her Ashley Young.
Looks nothing like him.
Of Herrera, Pogba, and I'm going to go with McTominay again. Matic pulled out of international duty with an injury, so we don't really know what the situation is up front. Lingard should be back. Rashford and Martial, hopefully.
Angelina, what is your starting 11 for the game against Watford?
Obviously going De Gea in net. I'm thinking the same with kind of Dalot and Young. About the Lindelof situation, if he is back, I would like to see him in there. Then again, I would love to see Matic, Herrera, Pogba, depending on Matic's situation, not too sure. And then similar really, I don't know again the situation with Lingard, maybe if not him, then Pereira, if I'm even saying his name correctly. And then going with Rashford. And for me, I would love to see Lukaku, but it again depends on injuries.
Yeah, like Dale mentioned before as well, we are recording this before the press conference, so I'm sure Ollie will come out and confirm or deny certain players will be playing. Howson, what's your starting 11? Is it doesn't get started?
Yeah, I think he's going to have to, actually. Start the back. I'll go controversially with Big Dave in net. How's that for a controversial one? I reckon it'll be Dalot and Young, because I do think Luke Shaw is one of the genuine injuries that we've got, bizarrely. I think Lindelof Smalling as a centre-half partnership, and then a midfield of Matic, Herrera, Pogba, Lingard in a diamond. And I think it'll be Martial and Rashford up front, but I have a sneaky suspicion it might not be. It might be one of the youngsters, maybe. I haven't heard anything. This isn't me trying to be coy. I'm just thinking.
Yeah.
I don't believe that Greenwood was ill the other week. I don't believe Greenwood was ill last week, and I think they've been sort of working on him in training with a view to him starting the game at some point in the near future. Is that this week while Rashford's still rough? That's like the afternoon, aren't we?
Okay, Alison, what can you tell me about Watford?
Well, like Wolves, being 7th and 8th, they're both doing all right. And Troy Deeney's having one of those absolute renaissance seasons, leading the line for them in front of what's not a bad midfield with likes of Capoue and Hughes. They're a good Premier League side, and they're well drilled, and they're difficult to beat at home. But I think on the road, you can get at them. So I'm hoping that we can turn what's a tricky fixture on the road into a straightforward win at home.
Angelina, can you tell me anything about Watford?
I think it's important for us to take them seriously. I think just because there's this talk of the Big Six and all this stuff, I think we've still got to kind of look at this. You know, they're in a similar position to Wolves. I do think that Troy Deeney will be quite important for them. I know that he's got like 3 goals quite recently. So yeah, I think they're not to be underestimated. But again, with them kind of being away from home, I think that we're obviously going to have that advantage and be able to do some damage.
Dale, Watford at Old Trafford, who do we need to be scared of in that team?
Nobody, but we should be wary of a few players like Troy Deeney. They've said it on here already that he's a threatening player. He score from very little chances, and he creates chances too, and he's a constant threat. Watford as well as Wolves, they're high up on the table with good reason, and they can challenge the big boys. They've showed that already, and I think any thought that we can underestimate these is a concern. If they go out and underestimate a side that are capable of playing this well and challenging top teams, I'd be asking a lot of questions. They should be up for this one, and especially on the back of two back-to-back defeats. We need to win this weekend, and with a busy month and a lot up for grabs, top 4 finish and Champions League as well, we need to get a run together again.
Okay then, score predictions before we wrap up today's preview. Dale, how many are we going to beat them by?
3-1.
I really shouldn't be that cocky, should I? Angelina, what's your score prediction?
Going for 2-1 victory for us.
2-1, nice. Howson, tell me we're going to get a clean sheet with Ashley Young in the back 4.
Why'd you have to do that to me, guys? 2-0 United.
2-0, and it's all down to Ashley Young. Thank you very much for watching today's preview. Make sure you go and check out these guys. Howson's on YouTube. Dale, Stretty News. Dale, what is Stretty News, and why do people need to check it out?
It's a Manchester United blog. It's full of fan opinion, news, and so on. So give us a read and give us some feedback.
Angelina, where can people go to check you out? Do you have an Instagram, a Twitter, a Facebook?
Gaz, you know that's just going to send a horde of creeps. But
Yeah, that's a very good point, actually.
Yeah, I am on Twitter,
What was
but
it?
I don't think I'll give you my handle.
That's your prerogative.
Right.
Don't worry about it. Right, we'll see you next time on the preview. McCullough will be there at the game this weekend. He'll be doing all the fan cams. And you know where to find Howson. I don't need to explain his channel, do I? Right, catch you next time. In a bit.